Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer board game review. And today's game on the tabletop is Goblins Hate Christmas. This is a 2 to 4 player card game. It is a game in which you start off as a goblin and can turn into a slimy half-elf. Your objective is to be a goblin that hates Christmas. You do not want to work with Christmas or Santa in any way, shape, or form, and this game is all about goblins playing tricks on each other and forcing them to become half-elves and work with Santa Claus. How the game works is you'll be drawing a number of these trap and sabotage cards, playing them on your opponents, giving gifts out as you see fit, getting gifts, and ultimately, hopefully, keeping your Goblin Malice card on the Goblin side. However, there are pesky cards in the gift deck that will eventually turn you into a nasty half-elf. You'll need to gain resources in order to turn back into a Goblin and force somebody else to be a half-elf. At the end of the game, basically all the events are drawn, and whoever is left being a half-elf is forced to work with Santa Claus. Everybody else gets to stay a goblin and not have to work on Christmas. There you go, that's the idea of the game. Let's talk about how to set the game up, how to play, and of course, my review. To set the game up, the first thing you do is you take all three of the decks individually and you shuffle them up. You have the Trap and Action deck, you have the Christmas Present deck, and you have the Event deck. Once all three of these are shuffled and placed in the middle of the game board, give every single player a Goblin Malice card on the Goblin Malice side. The other side is the Enema of Malice. This is when you turn into a pesky half-elf, and hopefully you'll never have to deal with that. But you'll basically start face up like this and leave it like that as long as you can. Each player is then going to draw 3 sabotage or trap cards from this blue deck here, and they're also going to give the first player the Goblin Event card. This is not to be looked at, and you're just simply going to place it in front of that first player, and after that, you're ready to begin the game. So playing the game is quite simple. How it works is there are 3 phases in a round, and you'll go from round to round until all of the events are done. Now, the first phase of the game is you have each player draw 3 of these trap cards here, and then you'll have 1 event card drawn and given to the first player. Once you've done that, you move on to the next phase of the game. Now, if you had multiple trap cards already in hand, you'll just draw up to 3. There are some cards or traps that will change this, but in general, you'll get 3. Then you're going to go on to the sabotage phase, the playing actions phase. The player with the Goblin Event card is going to be the player who gets to play their cards first. There are traps, there are actions, there are instant effects, and you can play them. You can play them on yourself or other players. Like, for instance, I can play this trap genie over there to give to this player here, and when I play a trap, I give out a gift. I could also choose to play cards like steal or move a trap or a gift, and I could switch these around if I'd like. Maybe I want actually to keep this trap genie, I can switch it to myself. And I can also save these cards. Once I've played all my cards, I'll pass it to the next player on the left, and they can play their cards. They can play their bat retriever and give it to me, for instance, and take a gift or give a gift to me. And they can play an anti-peeping wall vial, no peeking at any cards. And they can give it to me and force me to have another gift. And then they can save this forced swap card in their hand if they would like. Then, after everybody has played all the cards they want to play, you move on to the last phase. This is the event phase and the end phase. You will reveal the event and you'll read the card. Santa surprise, ho ho ho, run away, hide, too late, everyone draws 2 gifts. Then you're going to open all your gifts. So after everybody has gotten all of their gifts, they are then going to open them. And they could also, obviously, during the event or during these cards, when they reveal them, they can play their action cards or their instant effects to prevent themselves from getting these gifts, supposedly gifts. And we'll reveal them. Normally, they're going to be like a card that just has flavor and has a symbol. If you have the Enema of Malice side flipped up, then you'll save one of each of these symbols. If you don't, however, these cards are just going to be discarded. And so I'll reveal that one. Here's another symbol card. Here's one. This is a gardening kit. With these tools, destroy, steal, or move one place trap. And I can actually go ahead and just do that. And then my final one, a cute hat. And so all these cards will just get discarded. Nothing super scary in there. Oh, there we go, an Absorb Malice card. That means you've now lost your Malice. You're now a half elf, and this card will get discarded. You'll flip the Malice card, shuffle all gifts on the table, and put them back into play. So the rest of these cards get shuffled and dealt back out. And then you're going to go ahead and reveal and continue. So now in this case, she needed a red one. And then this one is another red one, which will get discarded. And these cards will just go into your gift discard pile. And then after all gifts have been dealt out, and whether you choose to use any actions or not, like maybe I want to steal or move one of these traps over here, or maybe she would like to swap gifts with anybody before she had received those gifts. Maybe she should have removed that gift just in case. Then it's going to end the phase. You'll discard this event card, move on to the next phase, giving the next player the Goblin event card, and then having each player draw up to 3 of the sabotage cards. And there you go. Rinse and repeat this until the rounds end. Basically, after every single one of these events ends, then you're going to go ahead and check to see if you have your Malice still. Now, if, for instance, you end up getting each of the different symbols that you need in order to turn yourself back into a goblin, and these are all from gifts, what's going to happen is instead of just flipping your card over, you're going to discard these gift cards that you got. You're going to steal somebody else's Malice, and then you're going to give it to yourself. And so there's always going to be at least one player stuck with the bad side of the game. And there you go. That's how you play the game Goblins Hate Christmas. Talk about what I think about it now. So Goblins Hate Christmas is this party game. It's got this kind of silly Christmas theme, but it's also like anti-Christmas all at the same time. You're a goblin who is being turned into a half-elf to work as one of Santa's little helpers, and you're trying to avoid that and turn your friends into half-elves themselves and force them to work with Santa Claus on Christmas because you really despise having to do it. And each of these events is basically like the goblins having to deal with Santa Claus in some way, shape, or form. And Santa can't tell the difference between the goblins and the elves, or maybe he turns the goblins into elves and forces them to work with Santa Claus on Christmas. I don't know. The theme's pretty solid. It's a pretty funny little theme. It's a cool, cute little Christmas theme. And the idea of starting off as a goblin, turning into a half-elf, and having to get the rewards from the deck. This is the gift deck. It's half the time cards you're not going to want, and half the time it will be. Now, at the beginning of the game, you obviously don't really need gifts. There's no reason to get them. There are a few cards in here that do help you in some way, shape, or form, and every card in this deck is going to be a way to turn back from a half-elf into a goblin. But there's one card in here, and that's the Absorb Malice card you definitely do not want to get. This is the nasty card, and this, when you get this, it flips over your card, and it forces you to start having to try and get these gifts to gain the specific unique abilities on them on the bottom left-hand side, these little symbols here, and then you can turn yourself back into a goblin, but at the cost of some other goblin being forced to work for Santa Claus and turning themselves into a half-elf. And that's the premise of the game, is like kind of this, do I need the gifts or do I not need the gifts, and choosing to move them around based on how you need them and how you want them, and at certain points of the time you will need them or won't, and it's all based on the other goblins, how they play, and what cards happen to be drawn from the deck. It is a luck-based game. This is a game where you're pulling out of random cards from the sabotage deck and utilizing what you have to offer in your hand. Sometimes you'll be able to play these cards or not, depending on the phase of the game, which can be kind of frustrating, but most of the time you can play them on at least somebody to give some type of reward. Some of these trap cards can be used to be discarded at the cost of gaining these treasures or these presents, right? But you don't always necessarily want them, and sometimes when you do, you don't get them because players know when you want them and when you don't need them as well. The event cards are cute, they're fun, they have a unique special effect that always takes place at the end of the round, and they kind of mix the game up just ever so slightly. This is a prototype, obviously this is a test deck of the game. What you get might be larger, there might be additional different events you can choose from, different cards or different presents, and all that's well and good. In fact, more would be even better, right? Maybe even depending on the number of players in the game will determine how many of these nasty Absorb Malice cards that might be in the deck. I mean, you're always going to at least draw this one though. And the question is there only ever going to be one player that gets it? And I guess in a 4-player game, you can have maybe about 2 players become the bad guy or the elf. It's not even the bad guy. You are a bad guy and you don't want to be the good guy. So it's all about just staying the course, keeping yourself as a goblin as long as possible, right? The artwork for the game is cute. I like the style of artwork for the game. I think it's actually really well designed as far as the cards go. Thematically, they mostly make sense. The way in which you can use the different critters to basically trap your opponents or prevent them from getting the gifts or forcing them to get the gifts, and how Santa Claus works with the goblins. It all just kind of fits in this really weird, bizarre way. It's fun. It's simple. There's a bunch of luck in it. This is a party-style game that fits in the line with games like Exploding Kittens and those type of style card games. There's a bunch of take that and actions and traps. And actually, for a small card game, there's quite a bit more here than I was expecting. How the events work and the presents work and the trap cards work and flipping over this card here and back over again. There's quite a little bit of strategy and choice you have in the game. Overall, it's a fun, light card game, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of luck, all mixed into this Christmas, anti-Christmas theme. And if you're here for it, then I'd be here for it too. It's a game I would pretty much bring out to the table and play during Christmas with a lot of my friends and family, especially younger kids. This really fits that younger kid demographic of jokey, funny style games. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed this one. Really cute. There's a few issues with the rules that I have that just need to be clarified. But this is a prototype, and I feel like once you get in there and dig into the actual campaign and see how the rules are read, hopefully they've changed and edited it to the point where it's, you know, in the best state possible by the time that it's fully published. But as of now, there's just like a few little things I would actually fix in there just to clarify things. Like for instance, as just a quick example, like when do presents get drawn? If I've got 3 and you've got 3, do we reveal them one at a time at the same time? Do we reveal all of them because some of them are based on when you draw them? That kind of thing. Alright, there you go. That's my full review for the game Goblins Hate Christmas. If you're interested, there's a link down below where you can look at the campaign and decide for yourself, is this anti-Christmas Christmas game right for you? Thank you guys for watching another Unfiltered Gamer board game review for the game Goblins Hate Christmas. If you're interested in picking up this game, there's a link down below in the description, like I said. And of course, if you enjoy this channel, appreciate watching the different videos we have here, hit that subscribe button. The like button does as well help. Notification buttons to see more of our videos. We put out like 2-3 videos a week, and we also do a live stream every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. PST, where you can see us play games just like this one here. Alright guys, that's all I got for you this time. As always, I look forward to not becoming a stinky old half-elf for Christmas and making you do all of Santa's work.